亲爱的爸妈，你们好吗？
Where's Mom? She's not here.
年轻时我离开家，你们却提前回天家。我在台湾无法回去，无法再见最后一面，让我无数个夜晚以泪洗面。
人生的方向会走向何方？
创办空中英语教室，因为很多人要学英文，
叫做同盟会，那阿多啊。
好难，就是不简单，才要试试看。
听说当年那个电台的门都快被您敲破了吧
Nearly on the go。我不能把工作丢在这里。
能够再考虑吗？
但是如果我们真的离开协同会，然后
我相信我们连电视台长什么样子都不知道，怎么做嘛？他的家人很伤心，我看了也很难过。
听说 Doris 去急诊诶，为什么？
我们可能整个节目都要取消了。
We will see each other again one day.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Advanced Weekly Update. I'm Brandon, I'm back, and it's good to be with you all here today, and I hope you're having a great Monday, a great start to the week. Well, I want to let you know that if you haven't already picked up your October magazine, it is out now. Look at that beautiful cover. We're going to be talking about historic castles, Bruce Willis, and many other things. So be sure to check or pick up your October copy as soon as possible. Well, I've been doing some traveling. I was able to travel to Europe for a bit and also go back and visit family in the United States with my wife, and we had a great time. It's good to be back here in Taiwan. And I want to talk specifically today about travel. This week, we're talking about our Newsworthy Clips article. We're talking about a new COVID test. We're talking about going through airports with some new security systems. And I just did a lot of that. And any way that we can improve that is a good thing. But I want to specifically talk first about how comfortable you are with traveling. So let's go ahead and put our poll up so it gives you time to sort of think about this. Maybe you don't need a lot of time to think about this. Maybe you already have it set in stone. But I'm wondering for you guys, like, are you comfortable with traveling now? Are you still trying to wait things out a bit? Take our poll there. We have very comfortable, not very comfortable, or maybe you're not sure what you want to do yet. Go ahead and check one of our answers there, or click one of our answers there. And some of you are already taking that. Good job. All right, so I'm thinking also about this new test that we have in our Newsworthy Clips article. All right, so it says that they're working on this COVID test that will allow you to see if you have COVID with just in 30 seconds. Wow, that's really fast. 30 seconds. That sounds great, right, as we're moving forward. And also for travel and that sort of thing, that's helpful. And also in our Newsworthy Clips, we're talking about moving through security systems. How many of you just love doing that, right? I mean, just thinking about it for me, I'm like, oh, security system or the security check is, it's not fun. So they have these new systems that they're putting in place in some airports in the United States, which will allow you to keep your computers, your laptops inside of your bag, so that helps a little bit because it's actually systems they use in hospitals, so they can see through the suitcases more easily, and so that is helpful. But what are you thinking about traveling right now? Let's go back and look at our poll. We see that 70% of you are saying a little comfortable, 10% are very comfortable, and 10% not comfortable at all, and 10% are unsure. Now, so for me, obviously I just traveled, so I guess you would think I'm comfortable, and that is true. I was comfortable with traveling. It was very different being back in the U.S. this time. I'd gone back to the U.S. last year, and this time it was almost back to normal in the way that people were acting, so that was nice to see. And I hope we're all moving toward that. So I think that was a big change from the past times that I've gone back to the U.S. Something I did notice is that the workforce is not the same. Ever since COVID hit, maybe you go to a restaurant in the middle of the day and they say they're closed or something like that because they don't have enough people to work. And there's still some of those issues in the U.S. That's some of the things that I faced. And going through the airports, well, it was busy as usual. We had a few snags, but thank God, no delays. And we have John here with us coming in.
Sorry,
Hi, John.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. Well, I was held up in the airport security line. Just kidding. I was across the street. We've been filming.
The quarantines
our
must
January
have
lesson.
ended already. John just came from the airport.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
that's good
COVID
news.
tested me, and then so where are we? Nice to see you guys. Sorry, I'm late.
John's been recording this morning and just getting back from all of that. So thanks for joining us. We're taking our poll, John, and you see the results here. People are taking it. The percentages are changing. It looks like for the most part, people are a little uncomfortable, which makes sense.
That's understandable. I mean, there still is COVID going around. I actually got COVID back in the United States before I made the move here to Taipei. And it was very unpleasant. I was very sick for a few days. I'm not all that afraid of COVID, but I wouldn't want anyone to get it. It can be very dangerous.
Yeah,
so be safe out there.
I recently got COVID as well when I was in the U.S. And about 2 or 3 days I felt unwell. It wasn't great. I was like, oh, this feels kind of rough.
Yeah.
Does it feel that mild? But it was mild in general. Just in that moment, it didn't feel like it. But I would say for me, like the flu was actually worse for me when I've had that. So it's different for everyone. My wife barely had any symptoms. So thank God for that. But it really depends, and just take care of your health, and we can move forward as much as we can. What do you feel about travel right now?
I think I feel pretty comfortable having already experienced COVID, which is why I mention it. So I would say I probably feel more than the very comfortable. But a lot of this is a lot of people's first big trip, right? Maybe you have friends or family that are traveling now that the restrictions are a little looser. We'd love to hear your stories.
Yeah, speaking of that, let's go to our question of the week. We want to ask how you feel about the current COVID situation as it is right now. Like, are you okay with things? Are you just trying to wait things out? Are you ready to move on? How do you feel about what's going on with the current COVID situation? Maybe personally, in your family, but also with the general public at large.
Yeah. It's been an amazingly challenging couple of years, right? Who would have thought that we would live through a global pandemic? Maybe some of our grandparents experienced some of the influenza or polio.
100 years ago, the Spanish flu, right, was a big deal. So we think, oh, this hasn't happened in a long time. And that's true. It's been a long time, but maybe not as long as we may think, just not in our lifetime.
Remember the Black Plague, you students of history, in around the year 1500, almost a third of the people in Europe died. So the COVID has been mild compared to that, but it's still bad. Sophie is going to visit London next month. Sophie says, I hope to keep wearing a mask all the way, but it seems weird to others. Well, Sophie, some places people are almost not wearing masks at all, but in a lot of places, especially on the East Coast or in California, in the States, people do, and I'm sure Europe people are.
Well, I was just in London, Sophie, and I can tell you that most people are not wearing masks, and I was also in Paris, most people were not wearing masks, and also the U.S., most people were not wearing masks.
Okay.
But there are some people wearing it. I was not on the West Coast, and I was not in, New York. I was in the Southeast. I was going to the airports in California. I didn't see too many masks. So most people aren't. So if you are, just go for it. Do it. Don't worry about it. Take care of your health.
Zachin points out, hello, teacher Brian, in terms of the COVID situation, hi, by the way, do you feel safer in Taiwan than in the U.S.?
Well, I feel safe now because I've already had COVID, and I do feel safe because we are continuing to wear masks here. Of course, that does give you a sense of safety. But I'm not going to lie, when I was in the US, I enjoyed not having to wear a mask as well. So there's pros and cons to all of it.
Yeah, a lot of times it might be very personal how you think about your own life and the chance of dying. I think that really affects.
Absolutely,
so,
and everyone's in a different situation, a different stage of life, and different health situation.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's complex. And then Brian points out, I think expensive plane tickets and quarantine procedures are some of the obstacles to traveling now. Brian, you are right. The prices are high.
Yes,
gas is up.
They definitely can be high, and the
Yeah.
quarantine can definitely take an effect. Thankfully, those are less now, so that's helping improve the situation. And so hopefully soon you will be able to travel if that's what you desire. All right, and we also have another comment here from Luna. I look forward to taking off the mask and living like the way before the COVID. And I think all of us would say yes to that.
So right on my lunch break, I forgot my mask. I live very close. So I ran home hoping no one would see me. I just didn't have a mask.
Well, if you're running, I think you don't need to wear it, right?
Because I'm working out. There we go. Or if I'm eating, sometimes I'll bring a snack, but it does feel nice in the warm weather not to wear a mask. So we just really pray and we believe it that God protects you from COVID.
All right, one more comment before we go. Thank you, Alan. The pandemic lasts too long. That's true. The condition in the future might be unsure. People gradually come to accept and adapt certain level of uncertainty.
Isn't that the truth?
We do adapt as humans. And that can be good and also maybe not so good depending on the situation.
Depending on, right. So some things seem very normal, and that's just the way almost every culture is. You have to adapt. If you, like here in Taipei, we had a huge earthquake, the biggest I've ever felt. I'm from California. I've seen earthquakes before. But all my Taipei friends were like, this is nothing. And I'm like, what? Our fish tank just splashed water.
It was something for me.
Anyway,
all right.
Appreciate you
we'll
guys.
check our poll before we go. Very comfortable. We have, where's the poll?
I think a little uncomfortable wins.
13%, a little uncomfortable 60, not comfortable 20, and 7 unsure. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you again next week here on Advanced Weekly Updates.
Bye-bye, you guys.